Say what we will, do what we will. In the end, we shinobi are still just people after all, with feelings all too human. And I've lost everything. Zabuza and Haku are two of the most important villains in the entirety of Naruto. Maybe not in the overall plot, but in the lessons they left behind and the foundation they laid that would echo through the rest of the series. A foundation that would begin to forge Naruto's ninja way and send him down a different path. A path that would refuse to accept the cruel shinobi world as it is. There are a lot of things that can be said about Zabuza and Haku, but today I only want to focus on one thing: humanity. In today's video, we are going to take a dive into the characters of Zabuza Momochi and his partner Haku, who, in my opinion, are two of the most beautifully written villains in all of Naruto. Let's start with a refresher. Haku was a boy from a small snowy village in the land of water. Both him and his mother born with the ice release Kekkei Genkai. Those with this power were once utilized in war, but are now feared and hunted by their own people. When Haku's father discovered their ability, he killed Haku's mother, and was going to kill Haku as well, until Haku, out of fear and desperation, turned his newfound ability on his father, killing him instead. And so Haku became an orphan, living in the streets until one day, a man by the name of Zabuza Momochi found him. Zabuza, the demon of the mist, a nickname given to him after he slaughtered over 100 students during the Mist Village's brutal graduation exam. After a failed assassination attempt on the Mizukage, Zabuza, along with Haku and some other followers, fled the village. They would then work as mercenaries and assassins in order to gain the funds necessary for another attempt at a coup d'etat in the Mist. Zabuza was hired by the crime boss Gato to assassinate a bridge builder named Tazuna in the Land of Waves, and this is where their paths would cross with Naruto and his team, changing their fates forever. Zabuza was first introduced to us as a cold, cruel, uncaring, and ruthless shinobi, and Haku his willing tool to be used in any way he saw fit. Zabuza viewed the life of a shinobi in a very dark and cynical light. To quote him, "In the world of shinobi, there are only those who use and those whom are used. We shinobi are simply tools." Zabuza's blunt and dark views on the shinobi world stemmed from his bloody past in the Hidden Mist Village, or the Blood Mist Village as they called it back then. Zabuza would come to learn three main things in his time as a shinobi. One is, as I've already stated, shinobi are tools to be used by their nation and carry out whatever orders they are given. The second is that in order to survive in this world, you must fight. It's kill or be killed. This was especially true in the Hidden Mist Village and personified by their graduation exam. If you want to have a future, you must be willing to kill for it. And being in the Mist Village's assassination corps, Zabuza was no stranger to killing. And the last thing relating to both of my first points would be that a shinobi is not to have emotions. To Zabuza, any show of compassion or kindness was a show of weakness. It would be these three core ideas that make up the character we knew as Zabuza. In short, to Zabuza, unless you're an emotionless killing machine like him, then you do not deserve to be called a ninja. As he explains to the young Team 7, "By the time I was your age, I had already dyed these hands in my enemy's blood." Haku seemed to somewhat agree with his view, as he himself would even state that he is simply a tool for Zabuza to use. But this was due to Haku's need for a purpose, a need to be useful. As human beings, this is something we all crave in one way or another: human companionship, the need to be something to someone. After his parents' death, he felt as though in all the world there was no one that needed him. He was unnecessary. But Zabuza saw usefulness in Haku, and that was enough for Haku to cling to him, to make fulfilling Zabuza's dream his only goal. He had finally found a purpose, even if it was just to be used as a tool. But Haku was not quite like Zabuza. Despite the cruel world around him, Haku had not become an emotionless demon. He still had kindness in his heart. He cared deeply for Zabuza, would protect him at any cost, and he did not want to kill unless absolutely necessary, even sparing Sasuke's life in their final battle. To quote Haku, "I find it difficult to embrace the full shinobi philosophy. I can't help but prefer that the pair of you not force me to kill you. However, if the two of you are going to come at me, I shall kill my own heart with my blade, just as the word shinobi was originally the words heart and blade, and act as a full-fledged shinobi would." In other words, for Zabuza's dream, Haku was willing to kill his own humanity, the last bit of kindness he had within him. But this statement within itself is a bit contradicting, because Haku's dream to be useful to Zabuza was possibly the most human part about him. As I said before, as humans, we instinctively crave companionship. A parent, a friend, a lover, in one form or another. Deep down, we all want someone to need us. Zabuza was this person for Haku. Zabuza, however, would maintain his cold, heartless facade until the end of their final battle. When Haku was nearly defeated by Naruto, in one last effort to be useful to Zabuza, he threw himself in front of Kakashi's lightning blade, sacrificing his own life in order to save Zabuza's. But even still, after witnessing the death of his comrade, Zabuza held on to his ideals and attempted to cut right through Haku in order to hit Kakashi. When the crime boss Gato arrived on the scene, he began to kick Haku's body and call him weak. Zabuza did nothing, stating that Gato used him and he used Haku. It's a shinobi's lot. All of us are either users or tools or both. I didn't value Haku for himself, but for the taint his blood carried and for what his talents could do for me. I apologize for nothing. This enraged Naruto, who at that point had somewhat befriended Haku, as much as two enemies can be friends. He yelled at Zabuza, telling him that Haku really cared about him, asking him if he was truly this cold. He was devoted to you, but you think that's just nothing? That he was nothing? You don't feel a thing? Are you really that heartless? Is this how you get when your powers are as strong as yours are? He gave his life for you. He died without any of his dreams coming true. Naruto's words would trigger a turning point for Zabuza, the most captivating moment in the arc. Zabuza was known to the world as a demon, but Naruto's words would break through and show just how human he truly was. He turned to Naruto with tears in his eyes for his fallen comrade, showing that, try as he might to be an emotionless killing machine, Haku's kindness had already infected him. Say what we will, do what we will, in the end, we shinobi are still just people after all, with feelings all too human. This quote from Zabuza really sums it all up. No matter how hard Zabuza tried to be the demon of the mist, he was unable to escape his humanity. The need for companionship, the bonds that he shared with Haku, unable to escape the fact that over time he grew to care about Haku as well, that he was not merely a tool. He was a comrade and an equal. In one last fit of rage, with a kunai in his mouth and no working arms, Zabuza channeled his inner demon one last time to do something good. He charged into Gato's thugs, killing Gato himself, in a way avenging both Haku and himself for being used. As he stood there with many blades in his back, he said goodbye to Haku, thanked him, and apologized. The demon of the mist was no more. All that remained was the very human Zabuza Momochi. His final request was for Kakashi to bring him to Haku's side so that he may see him one last time before he dies, as he assumed they wouldn't be going to the same place on the other side. This whole scene, to this day, remains one of the most beautiful scenes in the series. A scene that was able to humanize one of the worst monsters in the story so far. A murderer with no remorse and no compassion who finally showed that even he feels the pain associated with a human heart. Zabuza and Haku were victims of a cruel system. A system in which shinobi are told to show no feelings, where their only purpose is to use or to be used. A world where shinobi are expected to not be human. A world drenched in violence and war. Both Zabuza and Haku were products of the current shinobi system. This would not only be our introduction to the flaws of being a shinobi, but it would be Naruto's as well. And this would serve as a launching point that would lead Naruto on his journey to change the ninja world forever. It is at Zabuza and Haku's grave that Naruto would decide that he wouldn't accept the shinobi world as it was, that he wouldn't use people or be used himself. That's it, he said. I've made up my mind. I'm going to create my own nindo, my own path, my own destiny. Zabuza and Haku were Naruto's first taste of the cruel reality that comes with being a shinobi. This is extremely important because these flaws displayed by Zabuza and Haku are flaws that would come up time and time again throughout the rest of the series. The story of Zabuza and Haku, while on a much smaller scale, lays the groundwork for the rest of the series. But perhaps even more important is Zabuza's humanity. The fact that despite how hard one may try to be emotionless, to be a cog in the machine of war and violence for your nation, or to be a demon, One thing you can never truly rid yourself of is your humanity. It is inescapable. It was inescapable for Haku, never being able to shed his kindness and fully become an emotionless tool for Zabuza. And it was especially true for Zabuza himself, unable to hold back his tears when Naruto's words pierced through his frozen heart. And we see it time and time again throughout the rest of the series. The conflict between being a shinobi and being human. Zabuza and Haku serve to display a much broader problem in the Naruto universe, and as the series' first major villains, I think they carried an immensely powerful message that would ring out through almost every villain to come after them, and that is that there is humanity within all of us. There are no real demons, only victims of a cruel world. Except for Orochimaru. That dude's a freak. Hey guys, this is just a little after message here. Please let me know what you thought of my first ever character breakdown / analysis / spotlight type thing. I don't really know what it is, but I've not done a video like this before, and I won't lie, it was a bit of a struggle to express what I really wanted to express. I still don't really know if this video was entirely well structured or had a clear point. Hopefully I'll get better at these videos as I go, but at any rate, let me know what you guys thought. I hope that you were able to find some sort of enjoyment out of this. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.